Welcome to Two Souls Podcast, a podcast to shift, impact, empower, and disrupt your consciousness, ultimately allowing you to thrive in this human experience. Now, here are your hosts, Amber Megenhauser and Angela Blaha. Welcome, all of you podcaster family out there. I hope you're having a most amazing day. I'm Angela, and this is Amber.
Hello, everyone. So happy to have you here with us. How are you, Angela?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic.
All right,
So
super.
today I thought we'd talk a little bit about. I thought we'd talk a little bit today about truth. Truth is something that is hard for all of us to face sometimes, and it is definitely not the easiest. It doesn't give you that warm, fuzzy feeling. So today I thought we'd just talk about, how to get past that hard part of the truth that we don't want to speak about or really face sometimes.
Yeah, well, what is truth, right? So each one of us have we all come from different perspectives. And so our truth comes from, our past experiences, what we believe in, how we either use our emotions or don't use our emotions, the way that we think. And so truth is really not necessarily true for everyone. It really depends on, the stories that we constantly tell ourselves. And so that's probably the first question is what's truth?
I think that's actually the hardest thing for people is understanding that their truth can be different than somebody else's.
Yes. We all like to be right, right? Like that's a human egoic quality. And when we aren't right, like that breaks down the what you believe to be true. It also creates unworthiness within you, or it creates mistrust within you because what you thought was true, and all of a sudden it's not. It's like, how could I be so wrong? How could I be so, like, how could I follow the agenda and not see what's really happening here? And none of us really want to go to that space. But as a human race, like, this is exactly where we are in our evolution today, is because we all see truth very, very differently. And we aren't using critical thinking skills. Like, we do not use critical thinking skills. We don't trust our intuition. We
No.
don't trust our own ability to know certain things. We just follow the propaganda or the story, or whatever somebody else tells you, and again, all based on your past.
Yep, absolutely. I think some of with the truth, though, I think everybody's just in denial too. It's easier
Mhm.
to say, that everybody believes the same things instead of standing up for yourself and saying, you know what, no, like this is what I believe is true for me. And people don't accept that. They feel like
No.
everybody needs to be the same, which is completely untrue. We are all different in so many ways. We don't look the same, we don't do anything the same, we don't feel the same, we don't have the same intuition. Like everybody has different uh superpowers, so to say. Like everybody has their own amazingness to them. So I think that's what I don't get about the truth too is, why do you want somebody else's truth? I did that myself for a long time. Like I carried a
Mhm.
lot of other people's beliefs and their truths. And when you go through a phase on figuring out, like, is this my truth or is this somebody else's? Like it is a reality check, and sometimes it's a little hard to swallow. But when you stand in your power and you're like, and you make the decision to say, you know what, no, just because you believe that does not mean I have to believe that. And it completely will change your world, and you'll see everything in such a different viewpoint that it almost like it's such a rewarding feeling, because like everywhere you look, you're like, you start to question everything you believe. Like, is this true for me or is this really somebody else's truth? I feel like I do that now with every single thing in my life. I can't
Yeah.
help it. It's almost like it's just there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's when we become empowered, right? Like when we start to ask ourselves, wait, what do I really believe here? And do I want to follow the masses or do I want to sort of stand out? It's a very lonely place to be when we stand out. We become an outlier kind of, we don't go with the group and there has to be a lot of self acceptance in order to do that because we are so conditioned to be normal, to be like everyone else, to think like everyone else. And it takes a lot of inner strength um, to put yourself out there and say, yeah, I don't believe in that, right? There also has to be a huge amount of acceptance. Like that's and it's free, when you start to question
Yes.
yourself and you start to question your like what is it that I really believe, there's a large energy of freedom, and we don't like to be free either because we say we do, but we don't know how to handle freedom. We've talked about this before, right? But the acceptance component,
Yes.
yeah, that acceptance component is really has to do with the self and being comfortable enough with who you are and like knowing yourself so well that you can get through these hard moments when we don't have the acceptance from other people. And we sort of stand out from the crowd. But standing out from the crowd never got you to, excuse me, a point of legacy, right? When you're just in the mix and you're
Yeah.
just being, one of you're just a clone from the other person next to you, it does not give you a legacy. And, that's
Yeah.
one of our big missions this year is how do we find these people who want to leave a legacy, who want to stand out, who want to shift the consciousness, and who's out there that's willing to do this. Now, we love to be in numbers, right? Like in convoys, like we're experiencing that right now in our world, right? Like these big number of people who are standing up for freedom, and saying, you know what? Who cares if what side of the road you're standing on? Let's just stand, right? Let's just take a stand and let's just, like create something that's different because we're tired of being controlled and dominated. And moving into this kind of a new reality, it takes some to stand out from the crowd and say, hey, you know what? No, we're done with that whole domination, control, oppression kind of factors. Let's be free here. I think humanity is ready. I just don't think that we know how to be free, right?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
That's it with all of it is we don't know how. It's been taught for so long to just do what everybody else does that we almost people almost don't even know how to take their own control back of themselves. They don't even realize that they've given their power away to other people. They just feel like that's just what you're supposed to do. And I guess that's a key word is why
Hmm.
are we doing what we should do or what we're supposed to do? Like that's not whose belief is that? Whose truth is that they feel like that's what you should be doing. But what do you want to do? I think that's a question people don't ask themselves either is what do I love? Like, what do I want to do? Am I doing this for other people or am I really doing this for myself? And people don't ask themselves that. And I think that's where a lot of
Mm-mm.
people get stuck on not knowing who they are or what their own truth is because they don't ask themselves any questions to actually realize what they want in their life.
Yeah, we're so like I don't know, over the past probably 5 years, there's been a large amount of people like, like there's a lot of programming out there that says stand on your own, be your own person, start, doing all of those kinds of things. But yet, how many of us are constantly asking ourselves, wait, what do I believe? Wait, what do I feel? wait, what am I thinking? And being in control of those thoughts, those emotions, those belief systems. Like, we don't have to just take the hand me downs from our previous generations. We don't live in those time and spaces any longer. So, why are we not
No.
upgrading the way that we think and believe and the way that we see the entire universe? Right? Like, that's
I think
just
some
always a
of it
foreign
too is
concept.
I think people are scared of themselves.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
do stand on your own, it is, you don't jump on anyone's bandwagon. You don't have people that jump on your bandwagon. You literally are so confident in yourself that
Hmm.
what other people say don't matter to you. Everybody, I think truth too is like everybody is so concerned about like, oh, this person said this about me or they don't like me or, like, who cares? Like one of my biggest things I always say to myself and I always say to my kids is like others people's opinions of you does not matter. It's none of your business because it does not define who you are. Where I think people get caught up in that truth where they let other people's beliefs become their belief about themselves even. It's not just about like the outside world, it's about yourself. This book we're reading for a class Angela's doing, the leadership gap, has just like blown my mind because I've never looked at myself at different aspects like that. But when you are have teachers tell you that, like you're not the best in the class, or you have a coach telling you you're not the best on the basketball team, or your parents tell you, oh, you need to try harder. It actually, as kids, makes you grow up like having that self doubt within yourself. So you start to question like who you are and what you believe and gosh, is that who I am? You just kind of like take it on with before actually saying, like, no, that's not who I am. Just because I'm not doing something that you think I should do in a certain way doesn't mean that I'm not good at anything. And I think that's where people kind of get stuck too. They take on other people's beliefs about themselves instead of standing in their own truth and being like, no, I don't believe that. Like that's not who I am. And just because other people think that does not mean that's who you are. And people
Yeah.
don't stand up for themselves in them situations.
Right. Well, we don't teach our children to use their strengths. We teach our children to compare ourselves with everyone else. I mean, that
Yeah.
alone right there needs to stop. And and we need to like literally bring out the strengths of who we are. When we do that, we become very confident,
Yeah.
right? And
Absolutely.
and when we're in that confidence, like we're eager to try different things and to, take a weakness and create a strength, make it a strength. Instead, what we do is we
Yes, that's
compare, 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 and that does nothing but break us down.
yeah.
It creates an inner
That's
war.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You're completely right. You're completely right. And it makes you live miserable your whole life
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're
Well,
not
yeah,
truthful with yourself.
exactly. So we're talking about truth, right? Truth starts from the inside and it works its way out. It doesn't come from outside of you.
Yes.
Truth does not. It's that's the propaganda, that's the agendas, that's the, programmings, that those all reside outside of you. When you are looking for truth, you're looking for your own spiritual truth. You're looking for your own, like, wait, this is the universe, and how do I use my strengths, my abilities, my purpose, like how do I fulfill my life here? Then you thrive. Instead of, when you're in comparison, you're just basically surviving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think too, like people need to look at like who you're around. Like what truth are you actually bringing into yourself? Like, is it negative truth? Is it positive truth? Is it like what is it? And have being truthful with what you want in life. You do also have to look at your surroundings and say, okay, do is it true that these people hold me back, or is it true that these people push me forward? um, when you're around people that you're never going to take a step forward and be better or want more for yourself, you're never going to get there. So if you completely go outside your box and find people that do what you want to do or be who you want to be, finding like minded, like hearted people, it helps you start to see your own truth. And I think that's a huge step for people to get past too is, you can't keep doing the same things in your life and try to find a different truth. You have to go outside that box.
Yes. At the same time, you can take all the negative things that happen in your life and turn them into positives and turn them into finding your strength, right? Like, I'm pretty brutally honest about my childhood and about, but it had it not been for my dad being so um, emotionally and mentally critical of me, I don't think I would have turned out the way that I have. You know what I mean? Like, so what I did was I just looked at that and said, okay, I need to be the opposite of that because I don't ever want someone to feel like I did or to have those kinds of experiences that I did. Um, and so I used it to become the opposite. And if we have enough self awareness, that actually, we can actually take those, what we consider to be bad or negative kind of an experiences and turn them into our strengths, right? Like that's really what he did was he made me find deep inner strengths that I'm not sure I would have had without the uh, abusive kind of nature. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
so there's like we have to be aware and we have to look at everything as okay, what's really the truth here?
um I completely agree. Like our past, whether we have good things in our past or they have bad things in our past, whatever we have there, like, I think people view them as like a good or bad experience instead of looking at it as, how did
How
this
can I use
actually
this?
help me? Yeah,
Yeah.
like I have terrible experiences in my past and I used to completely play the victim to them. But now, like, I would not be able to be who I am today without those experiences. So they actually like really really help me. It depends on how you view things. If you can completely change it around and realize how much it actually pushed you forward instead of playing a victim to, oh, that happened to me, it completely changes the way you view everything. And it's just
Yeah,
being honest with yourself that,
yeah,
how did
yeah.
this help me?
Yeah. The other thing that comes out of that is you set boundaries and you never let yourself fall into those kinds of an experiences again. And you become very strong.
Yes.
You become very strong in those boundaries. It's like, no, I will never put myself in that position again. And you can recognize that where the real strength comes from, the real truth is, you can recognize when you're kind of being pulled or when you put yourself into those kinds of positions, you can recognize, oh, my boundary is not here, and this is where I need to go. And so you can easily see the path that you want to be on and the path that you need to take, so that you don't actually put yourself into those kinds of situations ever again. I mean, that is real inner strength. But you also have to be able to recognize, right? Again, this is where we use our ability to not compare, but to understand truth within you. Is like, yeah, I don't want to feel like that any longer, right? I don't want to be like that anymore. And so those boundaries come. You draw the line in the sand, and you don't ever go past it.
Yes.
That's
Having boundaries
power.
in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Having them boundaries and saying, I'm not I'm not going back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a game changer when you can actually stand up for yourself and
Hmm.
you realize that you have that power within yourself. Realize you're in
Yeah,
your own power is one of the most
mhm.
rewarding things anybody can ever have.
Yeah, that's where the truth becomes powerful, right? When you know what's true for you and you're like, okay, this is it. Um, you have the ability to see through the lies and the stories and the disinformation that hold you back or keep you stuck or keep you oppressed. And then, like that's where your intuition becomes super powerful and super important. And I'm going to say it, we need to use our intuition more now than ever before in our past.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. We need to
Your
trust
tuition
those
is your only
inner,
truth.
yeah, we need to trust those inner knowings because those come from your spiritual self or your God self or whatever you believe in. If you believe in angels or guides, like that, they're guiding you into your own true path, right? And the years
Yes.
of dissing those and saying, yeah, I don't know, I can't, the years of saying, oh, you're a witch because you pay attention to your intuition, or oh, you're whatever, you know those days have to be gone because we cannot move forward, we cannot evolutionize ourselves without listening to that inner knowing, the inner truth, the part of us that never really lies to us. The ego is constantly lying to us, but
Yeah.
that inner truth, it never lies.
No, it doesn't. And,
Mhm.
sometimes in the beginning, that inner truth, like we've said, it doesn't give you all warm and fuzzy feeling. It can be hard to face sometimes, but the reward at the end
It can be very
is
harsh.
more than anything. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, because when you figure out that, oh wait, that's not, wait, that's a lie. It's like evolution. Like when we were years ago in science, like they thought the world started 5,000 years ago, or I mean, it was ridiculous, right? And now we know it's been millions of years since the Earth's been created. I mean,
Yeah.
but there are people out there who still believe that it's only 5,000 years old, and you know, we're just new babies. No, humanity's been here for a really long time. We need to face the truth and grow up already.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That right there, perfect example of everybody has their own truth. Whether
Hmm.
other people believe it or not, there's no room for judgment. Like everybody has their own truth. If they want to believe that, go ahead. Do I know something different? Yep. But
Yeah.
whatever. And I think
Hmm.
people just get caught up in so much about other people. And the intuition, if any of you have not played with your intuition, I'm telling you, you need to do it because it is some of the funnest, coolest, most rewarding thing that you will ever have. And the more you know how to listen to it, the better your life gets. Like, even it changes your whole world. Like, even our podcasting. I used to try to actually come up with our podcast ideas like in advance. And it actually started to create a block for us. And so I'm like, okay, now you flow with it. You listen to what your intuition. And when we record, it's like, okay, what do people need to hear about today? And it's my own intuition telling me this is what the world needs to hear today. And that's how we just go about it. And I do that with everything in my life now. I don't let my ego like judge everything I have going on or talk me out of what I actually am passionate about. Our egos come in and try to talk us out of everything. And Angela and I have recorded multiple podcasts about what is your intuition, what is versus what is your ego. If you are questioning that, if you don't know the difference, like go back and listen to them because there's some amazing tools in there to help you understand what is your intuition and what is your ego. But when you know it, your whole world changes. You just flow with it, and everything just like happens. Everything comes in, like you have the answers you need. You literally just ask yourself everything you need to ask. You never look outside of your body for anything in life.
Hmm. There's a lot of teachers out there who teach, being in the present moment and how important it is when you're listening to your intuition and like you allow that to guide you. There's You don't have to work at being present because you're always present. You're always just living right here. You're not living in the past, so you don't have depression. You're not living in the future, so you don't have an anxiety. You're just always constantly in this moment, and you're listening.
Yes,
You're really, really listening. Yeah. Then truth, you don't have to work at,
listening.
you don't really have to work at truth. Like, what's my truth? Because
Yeah,
you're constantly asking yourself, wait, is this what I
yeah,
believe? Yeah.
yeah. Like, I still say that to myself all the time, like daily.
Yeah.
Like, do I really
Yeah.
believe that?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So our mission this year, Amber, is to find a billion people who are awakening and that we can support some way, somehow, because we are here to shift the consciousness, and the energy of the universe is right for it to happen. So, if you're willing and want to, please reach out to us, because we are, honest to God, this is the purpose, the mission, the reason that we've been here is now unfolding, and we want you to join us. So we invite you into that kind of a container. So please reach out to us.
Yes, we would love for anybody to reach out to us. We have such a passion about helping the world that this is going to be phenomenal. And when you go from a lack of or life of lack to learning your truth to having a life of abundance, man, your whole world changed. And believe me, if anybody wants to ask me, I lived that. If you asked me 5 years ago if this is who I'd be today, I would have thought you were crazy. So please feel free to reach out to Angela and I. We would love to help you any way that we can. Until next time, from our soul to yours, have a super fantastic day.